No,
Okay,
You're getting paid to be here, too.
there we go. Okay, it is 6:01 PM on Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. We'll call the common council meeting to order. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Middleton.
Here.
Varga.
Here.
Romano absent. Weagle.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
In front of you are the minutes from our last meeting on July 11th. I did have one change, and that was just to add the last name of Isabella and Eduardo. But besides that, were there any other changes or corrections? Did you have any?
I have one.
Okay.
Under the mayor's report, the grand opening for Dickey's Car Wash, Dickey's is without an E.
It is. You're right. I didn't even recognize that.
That's it.
Thank you for being so thorough. Appreciate that. Any other changes or corrections? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve with noted changes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Leslie, seconded by Tad. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. Leslie, Tad, and Dan approve.
Abstain.
And Jenny abstains. Next up is ordinance 2024-9. Do I have a motion to read by title only?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Tad, seconded by Dan. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous of those present. Please read ordinance 2024-9 by title only. You're okay.
Ordinance 2024-9, an ordinance amending chapter 114, restaurant, and chapter 112, mobile non-food vendors of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Columbia City, Indiana.
Marcia.
Probably good that I go.
This is a big one,
So first of all, I did not highlight the changes that were requested from the last meeting. So those are in here, which would have been section 2E of the ordinance itself. And under the mobile food truck, that adjacent to part was changed in the back. Which I don't remember where it is, but hopefully you all do.
Well, as a reminder, the adjacent is the street to the sidewalk up near it rather than across the street, as that was the council's recommendation. Okay.
Okay, and then what occurred was, what followed was discussion between Rosie, the mayor, and I, which I'm so glad that you all don't have to be involved in those discussions. It was very robust and exciting.
Yes.
But it resulted in the red line changes that you see under 114.02.01 and the change back in 114.02.09. Now, what I want to explain is that there was just a question of a truck that was selling prepared or unprepared food. And the issue is actually different than what we've headed, where I was headed with this, and so the changes are actually where I was headed on this. But the mobile food truck ordinance is really for those selling prepared food, where you're going and you're getting something to eat and proceeding on. So the mobile food truck definition, I changed to selling your prepared food items, and then does not include a mobile truck used for the selling of unprepared meats, vegetables, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the question then I followed up with is, well, what do we do with those that are selling unprepared items? And the point is that has nothing to do with this. That is really more under health department issues. I suppose it would be under, those are other things. But, Schwann's goes around, and that's by request. So it'd be the unprepared food truck that is parked someplace, and the question is that anything we want to deal with? But that is not about this ordinance. I guess my main point is, that's a whole nother issue. I don't know that it's under peddlers or wherever that might be, but that has nothing to do with this, and that's why the changes.
So I'll give additional context to that. You probably have seen the X amount of ribeyes or whatever in the, Dunham's, Walmart, et cetera, parking lot out there. I know there's been a lot of comments on social media about those. Again, the purpose of our food truck ordinance is for prepared, not unprepared. And I would say to citizens or whoever that may have concerns about what is being sold out of that truck, is that they contact the health department, because the quality of the food is really a health department issue, not a city ordinance issue, right? So I would say that to the public, or I do say that to the public, if they have concerns about the quality or the health of the products that are being sold, that is a health department's centric question that needs to be discussed by them.
Where you have a truck pull in on Tractor Supply on a given night, you got cars lined up, going and buying stuff from whatever there.
From a farm or something like
Farm
that,
or
yes.
And then you come up to Saturday morning.
Oh, to the farmer's market, yep.
Farmer's market, you
Yep.
got a couple, three guys selling
Yep. Yep.
frozen meat out of
Yep.
the back of their trailer. So you got a couple things, different events or
Yep.
different things that are happening throughout the town that's now
Yep.
taking place. And I don't know about that guy on Tractor Supply, but there's a line of cars
Yeah.
out there waiting to get pre-orders, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's some kind of a co-op, if I understand correctly, where they like sign up to be a part of this, and that's just a distribution point. So they're not, I don't think at that, I could be wrong, but I don't think at that point they're actually paying, they're just collecting, if that makes sense. But nevertheless, the point is, yes, this really is focused on the, I can walk up to the window, grab something, and take a bite right there. Like, that's really the purpose, the prepared food, if you will. And that's why I think it was a very robust discussion between the three of us to really try to hone in on, okay, what is the purpose of the ordinance, and how do we make it so that it's very clear to the populace as to what is and what isn't included as a part of that.
So the second red line has to do with the timing of Rosie's group to have to issue the permit, to give them a little bit of a break so that they can review everything that the permittees are providing to them. I added not less than 3 days, so that they don't expect that those are to be done that day. So they need, as with any ordinance, it's unfortunate, because a lot of times people never read these, they never know what they're coming into. But that gives the office time to at least review and have a sense of that they've provided everything they're supposed to provide under the ordinance. So that's why that, but not less than 3 days was added.
And actually, the difference, this one is more for, these people should be paying the food and beverage tax. The other one, the frozen. wouldn't be.
The unprepared food would not be, because it is not, again, you can't eat it, it's not served with a spoon or a fork or a napkin.
At least not recommended.
What?
I said at least not recommended.
Yeah, it's not recommended to eat raw or frozen meat, yes. Is that I assume that that's a reasonable time frame, but again, I mean, that was a fair amount of discussion between the three of us on that. And, to Marsha's point, I mean, the thing is people do come in on the day of and they expect to get a permit that day, right? But we kind of do the same thing with peddlers. Peddlers, they have to give advance notice, if you will, and have to get a permit prior to them actually doing things. And I think there's a waiting period on that too, isn't there?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 3 days, I
Yep.
think.
So.
I have to check on that.
Other thoughts, questions, comments, concerns about the ordinance in and of itself? I think, again, based on our previous conversations regarding mobile food trucks, and as we talked about at the previous meeting, this doesn't address every single issue possible, but it really gives a clear-cut process. I think one of the things that we're finding with our current ordinance, which is why this is being developed and changed, if you will, is that there are people pulling up into private parking lots that are not currently covered under our ordinance. It's basically a free-for-all, but there's no check. There's no check that they've gotten their health permit. There's no check that they've gotten their, they've gotten all the approvals. There's nothing that prohibits them effectively from pulling up next to a current provider literally on the property line next to a provider and selling from there, right? And so I think they've covered a lot of the, I think this ordinance has covered a lot of the pieces that came out of the ordinance review committee, that came out of the discussions that we've had in the past, and going from there. So, yes, Marcia.
So I was just asking Rosie, 'cause a lot of this came from the non-mobile food truck, and I was asking her, do you want the, but not less than 3 days on that ordinance as well?
Okay.
So I guess that's up to all of you, because that'll change on just that first ordinance page.
On the second reading, it would.
Well, but I would change that on this page, because this was just changing a few things.
Gotcha.
So that's up to everybody, and Rosie, if you want the not less than 3 days on that too.
I say keep it consistent across the board.
Yeah, if somebody's coming from Fort Wayne over here selling stuff that isn't mobile,
Like clothing.
yeah, or something.
It was not that it's not mobile, it's mobile,
Yeah.
but it's non-food.
Yeah, that we have 3 days, mainly because the incident that happened, that the people were complaining about, they said, look up on Better Business Bureau about these meat company. Well, we just don't have time because they're standing there,
Wanted to get a permit.
yeah.
Well, not only that, but in our robust discussion, my point was, that's not the city's job to determine whether they're good, bad, or ugly as far as the food goes. That's a consumer issue. They're not any good, don't buy from them.
Yeah.
So that part to me is not our job, to try to monitor whether somebody is selling great food or whatever they're doing. But it did bring up this whole discussion of being able to review their documentation.
So I agree, I'd say
Added,
all of it should be,
and you think consistency is a good idea?
I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Jen?
It really, does it,
Well, I'm just thinking, so you're saying with someone that's not like doing use of boutique or whatever like that, so you're saying they're gonna have to have a permit also now to do events?
Oh, no,
Is that
they already
including-
They
do.
already
But
do.
is that including the first Fridays,
No,
including
not-
that at a local vendor?
no, let's just say somebody came in and,
They want to sell belts.
yeah.
Right,
We already
Yeah.
have this whole ordinance for them. Actually, that's where this food ordinance came from. What was happening was, we did the mobile vendor, and then we did food vendors and referred back to this one. And the thought was, let's make this clearer, because I figured out at the retreat that this wasn't clear, that it was a reference back. So the thought now is, we have the non-food vendor, and now we will have the mobile food vendor, but they mirror each other.
Yeah.
But to answer your other question about special events,
Right.
is that the ordinance talks about basically that the special event is in charge of determining that, but they still have to get, is it Board of Works approval? For food vendors, but not for,
Yeah.
do they have to do for both vendors, food
Well,
and
they-
non-food?
Probably.
Maybe in this, they never did before.
But the point of the matter is that the event coordinator is the one that decides if they're there. And that way, so we don't say, yes, food vendor, you can be there, and the event says, no, we don't
Right.
want them here, or vice versa. Instead, the special event, when they come forward, they say, we're going to have vendors, and we go blessing to go, kind of thing. So.
which makes sense.
Yes, so on special events, that's covered, that's not, this is just if somebody wants to pull up, you know, on the, I don't know, in one of our parking spaces or on a public street and wants to vend belts or hats or something like that, or in this case, wants to vend burgers or
Right.
tots or whatever, then that's how that.
114.02.03 has the exemption for special events.
Gotcha. Does that answer your question, Jenny?
Yes.
Okay. Is that why you were having the face?
No, I was just thinking.
Okay, that's okay. I just want to make sure we don't rush anything, so. Because this is a big change to our food truck ordinance. Understanding that our food truck ordinance, you know, we put it together in the start of food truck time frame. So there's been a lot of lessons learned and a lot of, you know, changes along the way in the environment and how that is, how that fits into our food ecosystem, if you will, or to our commercial ecosystem here in the community. So I think it's a good balance between having checks in place but not being over restrictive, if that makes sense. Other thoughts, questions, comments, concerns? Is it the preference of the council to mirror the 3-day waiting period for non-food vendors, just like food vendors will have?
I think it should be the same across the board.
Okay, there's your answer, Marcia.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other things on this before, because if not, we'll move forward with voting, but I didn't want to stymie any conversation. Okay. Okay? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2024-9 on first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jenny, seconded by Dan. Further discussion?
Well,
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Motion by Leslie. You guys sounded very similar today. I don't know why. Motion by Leslie, seconded by Dan. Further discussion? All those in favor should be the usual sign. It is unanimous of those present. We will move it to second reading at the next meeting. Thank you for all the hard work on that, because there's been a lot of hard work on that. So, okay. Next up on the agenda is council meeting dates. As we look forward in the agenda, or in the year, October 8th falls on the first day of the AIM Ideas Summit Conference that is over in Fort Wayne. So it would be my preference that we move that. I'm suggesting we move that to October 14th. That's a Monday. The reason I say Monday is that Tuesday is the first Tuesday of the month. We have Arts Commission in here at 5. And the third Tuesday of the month, we have we have Housing Authority at 5 and Tree Board at 6. So I'm trying to hit a non-Tuesday, if you will. So I would propose October 14th for the council meeting. The Board of Works has already moved to the new date on that one. So is that a problem? Anybody have a problem? No? 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 Okay. Then we will move the October 8th meeting to October 14th. The second one is December 24th. I figure you probably want to be with family or friends on Christmas Eve and not in here doing the city's business, especially because we're closed that day. So, as Rosie and I kind of looked at different options, because the city hall is closed the 31st and 31st of December, 1st of January, as well as obviously the 24th and 25th of December. We are suggesting moving the council meeting to the 30th of December, which is the Monday, which will then allow Rosie to get all the end of year stuff and the reappropriation ordinance and all that kind of stuff we do at the end of the year in line. So understand that's a Monday, and that both those weeks are going to be challenging for everybody. I know that. But I guess my question is, can we get 3 of you here?
I don't have anything.
I think it's probably a 50-50.
Okay. Do I need to ask him?
I'd ask her like,
Like the week before?
I'll,
I think I know what that means.
yeah, tell me your answers to it.
I'm a 50-50 right now,
Okay.
just December 30th.
Okay. So why don't we tentatively plan for December 30th? If, as we get closer to that, it looks like maybe we do a check in maybe early November to see where we're at that point. And then if we need to change it to a different date, then we can do that. But I hear a yes from Leslie and a yes from Dan. I don't know about Jennifer, and I have 50-50 from you guys.
Odds are one of the 3 of us.
Hopefully one of the 3 of you will not be 50-50, will be 100%. So let's, if you're okay with that, I'd like to move to the 30th, and then if we need to change it, let's say to earlier in December or something, it just gets hard with the calendar thing, or with the finances thing. So. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll do a recheck in November to see where we're at from a calendar perspective. Okay,
Great news.
I didn't call your name yet.
You look, we made eye contact.
Chip.
He's excited.
NDOT approved a permit for us to start Blue River Trail South. So hopefully within the next 2 to 4 weeks, we'll get ready to do bids. We're anticipating with the construction season, possibly late fall, but better off next year doing the trail for the high school. Eagle Park, I am hoping with the weather and everything, they're supposed to lay asphalt this week for the pickleball courts. Skate park is looking like October. It goes back and forth between August and October, but last time I heard it was October. Westgate is moving along slowly. NIPSCO had to relocate the gas main, and that was causing a lot of issues. They are now wrapping up, and so everything should be going a lot smoother out there. That's all I have.
Questions of Chip? Thank you. Sean?
So we did get word that our new stump grinder is finally here and installed, so hopefully in the next few months, we'll be removing the stumps in town that we've been trying to get out since early spring. So that's good news. Last Monday, we did have a young driver driving in a brand-new vehicle with paper plates, going 75 to 80 miles per hour down Airport Road, go over a hill, catch air, and hit our pole about 15 foot up. Luckily, the young man was okay. The pole was not. We had about 2,300 people out of power. We were able to get all but 2 turned back on within at least a half an hour, I'm gonna say 20 minutes probably, get the power rerouted, but we had 4 to 5 hours of changing that pole in the hottest day of the year. So my guys did a great job. Pole testing, Osmose Company is going to be in town July 15th, driving around drilling and testing poles for us. So residents will see a different looking vehicle, looks like the one in G's hand, in town. They're doing work for us, and I do have magnets that says contractor for Columbia City Electric, so people should know, and they're just gonna test our poles, let us know if we have any issues right away, and make a list, and do some GPSing for us and things like that. So then I was also approved tonight by the Board of Works to have EN Engineering start working on a new SCADA software for us. What this is gonna do is, it's the next piece in the 69 kV conversion project that we did last year, and the rebuild of the North Substation is, we've got 2 feeds that come into Columbia City from AEP. We have an open point in the middle, and in years past, if we lose one of those feeds, one of our employees has to go out, open the entrance, close in the open point. Could take up to 1 to 2 hours if it's at 2 in the morning. What this does is those new switches we put in last year and relays will talk to each other. When it sees that situation, it will open and close on its own, and power will be restored within 5 seconds. No more overtime in the middle of the night, which may be good or bad depending on what kind of line you prefer to be. So that's great. It's also doing other things. It's refreshing our SCADA screens, which is the software that shows us what all of our substations are doing, if we have faults, if we have loading issues. It's also going to help with the solar impact from our solar field, since most of our power comes from the power lines, transmission lines into our substations. Sometimes that solar park puts out more power than what we use, and so that it actually reverse flows. So now this will tell us when we're doing a reverse flow in our substations as well. So a lot of good things with this. And when that's all done, as I told the board, I'd like to have people out to take a look at that new software. Because another thing it's going to do is going to add remote SCADA activity. So I'll have people, dispatchers, my office where the SCADA is hosted. We can turn breakers on in substations remotely. So now we have to drive to the substation. If we're working out at Aetna, if we get everything fixed, we've got to drive all the way back to town and hit that button to turn people's power back on. Moving forward, I'll be able to call dispatch and say, everybody's clear, go ahead and close the breaker. And then boom, it'll turn right back on. So a lot of cool things with that. And it's the last of my major projects for a while, hopefully. Yes, so other than that, we've got a lot of projects going on that I could really bore you with.
Questions of Sean? Thank you. Gary?
All right, one of our applicants from the last hiring process went through the Indiana Public Safety Medical. We're just waiting on his recommendation or not recommendation. The other one is waiting for his collarbone to heal. And then I think that is gonna be like August 12th. I think he's getting released from his doctor, so we got an appointment scheduled for him on August 13th. So we hopefully everything goes well. So we have 11 applications for our next police officer position. And we have 11 applications for the communication position as well. Matt Manier has put in his retirement paperwork and given us 2-week notice, which is July 2nd will be his last day. He is going to work part-time with Terry and continue to do our public safety IT guy. And so he'll do our radios, our modems, and all that stuff. So he's going to continue doing that, plus whatever Terry needs him to do. So I think that's going to work out okay. was a little bit nervous there what we're gonna do, because Terry's a little bit unfamiliar with what this batch does as far as their IT stuff goes, but I think he's a little bit relieved on that.
Yeah, you should be too.
I am. So, we did discuss, no parking signs on Spencer Street, starting July 8th for 140 days, because they're gonna be replacing that bridge just south of Spencer Street, and their projected time is 140 days, so we were approved to put no parking there, because there's probably gonna be a lot of increased traffic there. We'll be doing lots of patrol around this whole area, just to try to keep traffic slowed down, so. Huh?
Just make it permanent then.
Yeah. So, that's all I have.
Question of Gary. That long closure, obviously for the bridge, closures at Hannah and Spencer, I think originally was 90 days with an extension on there of up to 50 for kind of the widening of the sidewalk that would be a part of our trail extension there. So just so you're aware, is we are a part of that, but the main focus of that is going to be the bridge repair, replacement, refurbishment, whatever. So that's going to be a big deal, because you're going to have a lot of traffic on Line Street, a lot of traffic on Whitley Street that's going to bypass. We are going to beef up patrols on Whitley Street. Kelly will talk about what we were doing on Line Street to kind of protect that. Trying to do everything we can do in preparation for it. We got notice, which was last week?
Yeah.
Got notice, I think, last week. So we've been trying to make sure we have all of our ducks in a line, so.
Can I ask a question on that?
Absolutely.
Because it'll be during, like, school will be starting then.
Yes.
Right.
Is the school going to communicate with students that drive, like?
We know that the contractor
Anything?
is communicating with the school. I
Okay.
don't know past that. I don't know what the school's doing, but I would anticipate there will be some people that may take 50 down, or they may turn right on Chicago, and I don't know. It's gonna be,
I just know
it's gonna be fun.
schools out, so.
It's gonna be fun for a couple months.
Yeah.
So. Thank you. Kelly?
So along that lines too, the state had asked the mayor to come up with an unofficial detour route. And then, so our department videoed Line Street from Radio Road to Van Buren, and then Van Buren from Line Street to Main, because we got a feeling people are gonna start taking that. So if there's any damage, I guess we can turn that into them, and they'll compensate the city for any damages on the unofficial detour route. So see how that works out. Our concrete crews have been down on South Line Street at Weston. There was a 50-50 applicant down there, and they just finished up the Line Street portion yesterday. So we'll be getting dirt, seed, and straw in behind those two. We did a sidewalk on Weston. He lived on the corner, so we had to do sidewalk on both streets. We'll be buttoning that up. Guys did a great job down there on that. Gary and I went around and looked at putting in 40-mile-an-hour speed limit signs per an ordinance that just got passed. I think it was last meeting, but be out by the school on 200 and then West Lincoln Way. So we're calling locates and get those posts in. Came in Sunday and cleaned up Old Settlers, and then limb pickups next Monday for us.
Question of Kelly. Thank you. Terry?
So we had some issues with one of our DVRs, which stores our videos from our security cameras that we're working on today. So hopefully we can get that straightened out by the end of the week. We're also working with Cody Rice and Q's, the company, I guess, is it Granite, for the televising equipment. They're getting ready for a new major upgrade to their software, so we have to get server ready for that, and software in the truck ready for that. So we're working through that with them. We got several Zoom meetings to go through on that. And then the booster station was supposed to be brought up on the network, fiber network today, but because of the weather, they postponed it until tomorrow. And the pocket parks that we're trying to put the public Wi-Fi in, are getting pushed back just a little bit because of equipment not being available. So we look like we're gonna try to use some of our spare equipment for the rest of the network so we can get those up a little bit quicker than we expected, so.
Questions of Terry? Thank you. Tom?
102 is back from Adam from the mechanic. It also had a wiring issue, and last evening before Adam was winding down for the afternoon, evening, it started working, which means the problem's still there. It's just disguised now. If you've ever had to track down wiring issues, it's a pain in the neck to make it light. So Adam's a little frustrated right now. We do have 102 back in the firehouse. Hopefully it shows itself again and we can get to the bottom of it and get that truck back in shape. I want to commend Kyle Francis. The driver operator class that he's putting on is coming to an end. He took the initiative he's an instructor 3, but he's our training officer. For bringing that in-house and saving us the money so that the guys that don't have that certification can get it. So that's a kudos to him. Ladder testing last week went pretty well. 107 did have 3 deficiencies. All of them are fixable. One of them was a flow meter on the ladder. The other one was a pressure gauge that the flow meter needs calibrated. The pressure gauge either needs replaced or calibrated. And then the comm system from the base of the ladder to the tip needs to be addressed. We've repaired that 2 or 3 times. It's an old system that in today's world wouldn't be going bad like this, but we'll have to spend a little money to get it fixed. That's so we can get the certifications for our insurance on that truck. This Friday I'll be in Fort Wayne, this Friday afternoon. I'll be in Fort Wayne with EMA for their LEPC, the Local Emergency Planning Commission tabletop exercise. That annually they're required by the state to put on an exercise to check the ability of our city to respond, or our community to respond. So I'll participate in that so that they can get their requirements met. We have 2 of my guys that are down with injury, and hopefully they get back to, they're on light duty with injury. Hopefully we can get them back and repaired and back fairly soon. Other than that, it's just a lot of little things.
Questions of Tom? Thank you. Matt?
Pool seems to be going well. Swim team started their season of meets and invitationals last Saturday. Megan's been great to have as a coach. She did it years ago, but she still has that insider connections, so she can see what's coming up a little bit before it actually happens. So that's been great. We're starting to clear. We were going to do that today, but the weather, we're going to clear the branches over the drive as you come in, so it doesn't feel more like a tunnel. Then we're going to go out, and there's a trail that goes up behind the Y, and it goes to an overlook. That can be a blind corner for people riding their bikes or walking through there. They're going to take a look at that, and they're also going to take a look at the one that goes up the hill from Demoni Grimes. That creeps out. So they're going to be taking a look at that one as well. We got new picnic tables. We got 10 of them. We put them around the heavier traffic areas, like down around the concession stand. You'll see 4 of them down there. We have them at Dreamland, and we have 1 at the main playground right now, and we're going to be looking at putting a couple more once we get them together back at the pond, kind of those heavy traffic areas. We have to put up the stage this week for the 3rd, for the 4th of July on the 3rd. We have to get the temporaries out and ask the electric department to come down and hook them back up for our vendors. We have quite a few more vendors this year. It seems to be a growing event, so much so that we may actually close down a little bit more of the parking lot. So that might become an issue, but it's a good issue.
I say that based on the lines in past years, the more vendors, probably the better, just to keep people
Absolutely.
moving and getting food and stuff, because
Yeah.
it's always packed.
And,
so.
and with the more vendors, the lines have gotten smaller.
Yep.
And people are able to get through them faster, so that's a good deal. Smith Brothers came down, was supposed to put the stage in there Sunday, but we had a tournament going on, so they weren't able to put that in. They turned around, came in Monday, and now it's currently sitting down there. So, like in years past, we'll have the vendors will be opening up at 5. All the other events will be taking off at 6. And then the band, All Gone Blue, will be there to perform. And then we have bouncy houses and obstacle course, blow-up obstacle course. Then fireworks will go on at dusk, but it's usually like 10 or 10. Yeah, weather permitting, yes. That's it.
Yes. Thankfully, we've gotten rain, because we were starting to have conversations about fire and dry does not go together. So, starting to have conversations about what that looks like, so. Anyways, questions of Matt? Thank you. Marcia?
Just back from 2 days of legal seminars down in Indy, and the topics both days all included AI, cybersecurity, social media. So whether it's decisions at the Fed or Supreme Court level, or just concerns and issues everyone is having, it seemed to be a very big topic and very concerning. So I'm going to be getting a summary out to the mayor and Rosie as soon as I can on things that I think we need to sit down and start looking at.
Thank you. Rosie?
Okay.
A couple things for your information. First, the reason Karen was here before we started is we were anticipating having the Utility Rate Advisory Board present to you tonight. But because of some things, trying to get numbers and stuff from Baker Tilly, that got delayed to the next meeting. So at the next meeting, Lee Botts from the Utility Rate Advisory Board will be here. As you will remember last year, there was a 3-year plan, rate plan that was put together, if you will, to address going forward with the utility rates, knowing where costs are and what projects are on the horizon that we're going to have to do and things like that. You guys approved the first year, and you requested that they come back for a second year and the third year, so they keep kind of looking at it. So the Utility Rate Advisory Board met. They have a proposal to give to you. That proposal will be presented to you at the next meeting, so be prepared for that. I don't know if I mentioned it at the last meeting, but Board of Works did decide trick or treat will be on Saturday, the 26th, from 5 to 8 p.m. I don't know if I said that, but just in case. Trick or treat is scheduled for October 26th from 5 to 8 p.m. Downtown Scavenger Hunt is happening as part of the Summer in the City program this Saturday around downtown. And of course, 4th of July, City Hall is closed in observance of Independence Day. I will be out the last 2 days of this week, just so you're aware. And the last thing I think I'll add is happy anniversary to my parents, 41st anniversary today, and to my wife for sticking with me for 16 years this Friday. So, Dan?
Nothing.
Okay. Tad?
Nothing.
Jenny?
Nothing.
Leslie?
Nothing.
Nothing, or no press here, no audience, so we'll call the meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.